Hello everybody, I'm Safety Sam with OZ Mountain Bike Patrol. We're over here at Kohler today and we're going to talk about how to fix a flat. All right, first off, let's make sure we have enough air in our tires. I get asked all the time how much air I should have in my tire. So there's two different ways of looking at it. Most bikes have tubes. And if you have a tube, you're going to want to run about 25 to 35 pounds of air, depending on the type of riding you do and the size rider you are. Most people are going to be about 30 pounds. The other type of tire or setup is tubeless. Tubeless, you're going to run as low as 23 pounds in your front tire and no more than 30 or so in your back tire. All right, so now let's take a few moments and talk about the different types of air pumps. So basically there's three kinds. This is the floor pump. I keep it at the house and I ride my bike about 3 to 5 times a week, but every time I get ready to ride, I check the air in my tires to make sure that they're at the proper amount of air. And I use this. When I'm on the trail and using my backpack, I have this small hand pump. And it's great. If you have a flat tire, you're going to need this to pump it back up. And then third is one of these. It's called a CO2 cartridge. These are a little bit expensive, but if you're really looking to a way to save weight and save room, this is the way to go. All right, the next part is talking about what we need when we're getting ready to change a tire. So let's talk about what's needed. First off, make sure you've got a tube. If you don't carry a tube with you when you're mountain biking, you're going to do a lot of walking. So carry a tube. The other thing you're going to need is a couple of tire levers. Most tires you can do it without, you can do it with one, carry two just in case if you have the room for it. And the last thing you need is patience. One thing I've learned about changing flat tires, the slower you go when you're doing it, the actually faster you'll get it done. So now let's go over and change a tire. All right, so now let's say I have a flat on this bike. The way I like to do it is turn my bike upside down, make sure that my gears are in the smallest ring, the smallest sprocket on the back, and then my bike has a through axle. Most newer bikes are going to have through axles. So what you do is you release your through axle, so you just undo it. So the next thing we need to do is take the tire off. So in order to do that, we release the clutch. There's a little switch on the side of your derailleur. It allows you to push the derailleur forward with your thumb, and that way you'll keep from getting your hands greasy. There we go. Now your tire's off, just that easy. So now we have a flat. What do? First thing you want to do is break the bead. There's a bead all the way around your tire. Go around it and just squeeze it like this, and that breaks that bead and gives you room to work. Once you've done that, get over to your valve stem, take one of your tire levers. Now this tire I can actually take off with my fingers, but we're going to use a tire lever today just so to show you how to do it. You just put it in like this, and you just run it around the tire. Just that simple, it comes off. So now we have our valve stem. It's got a little nut on it. Take that nut off. Don't lose it. We might need it later. And it rolls off the table. All right, we're going to take the tube out. Now one thing I like to do, if I have the room, is I lay my tire down. Now what I want to do is pump my tube up a little bit and see if I can find where the hole is. Now you'll have a couple of different types of holes in your tire. You can have a puncture where something just went in and out, and then your tire goes flat. You may not have enough air in your tire, and you'd have what's called a snake bite, which means you'll have two small holes on both sides of your tube. All right. And the third is you've got a thorn or a piece of glass or a piece of wire in your tire. So we're going to take that assumption that we've got something in it. So what you want to do, you can see that I've got the tire still on the rim, but I'm going to run my hand around the tire real gently and slowly to see if I can find any glass or any sharp objects. If I find something sharp, I want to make sure that I take it out. If you leave it in and you put a new tube, immediately you're going to have another flat. So we checked it real good. We don't have any sharp objects. All right, that's good. Now I've got a new tube. What I like to do is put a little air in it before I put it back on the bike. You don't need to put a lot, just enough to give it form. And by doing this, you'll have a lot less chance of pinching your tube when you're putting the tire back on the rim. So first thing we're going to do is find where our valve stem goes in. This has got a nice long valve stem. It'll be real easy. Put it in. We've got the nut that we took off a few moments ago. We're going to put it back on, but not up tight. You want to put it back on a little loose. I've got the tube inside the tire, And so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start at the valve stem and I'm gonna slowly work this all the way around. And I'm gonna work the tire back on the rim. What you may not know, there's actually a little bead that hooks onto the rim that keeps the tire on. All right, so now we've got it all the way on except for that small section there. It's always a little difficult. So what we can do now is pinch this bottom section, get it unbeaded for a minute, just for a moment. Then this should go right on. And what we're gonna do, we're gonna take our tire lever, make sure we don't pinch our tube, and just pop it over. Just that simple. Now, the next thing we want to do is check to make sure we haven't pinched the tube anywhere. So if you leave a little bit of the tube out and it gets between the tire and the rim, you'll get another hole in it. So you want to go around it, make sure it looks good. All right, now you can push this up so that you don't have any issues with it being a pinch around your valve stem. Okay, so now we're going to pump the tire back up. All right, so now we've got our tire aired up. Now what you want to be able to see is there's a little bead, a really small little bead that goes all the way around the tire on both sides. Make sure that's even all the way around. You can either run your finger around it and feel of it, or you can look at it visually and look at it. Check both sides to make sure. Now go back and tighten up the nut on your valve stem. And now you're ready to put your tire back on your bike. So let's go do that. All right, we've changed the tire. We've got it all, the air in it now. We've checked the bead all the way around it. Now we're ready to put the tire back on the bike. All right, so what we're gonna do, thumb on the derailleur, pull back with your index fingers. Now hopefully this will go on real smooth. Make sure your brakes lined up. There we go. Perfect, got it in. So now we get our skewer. It goes in. You can turn your wheel just to make sure everything's lined up appropriately. Yep, we're good. All right, skewer goes back in. Tighten it up. Now here's the deal. You don't want to get it too tight, but you want to get it good and snug. Everything's working fine. Hey, it's time to go ride again. Let's go ride.